Everyone, happy upcoming finals week. I wanted to go over a couple of things just in terms of what you can expect from the final exam for introductory stat. Your final exam is on Thursday, May 11th. So if you are currently in my 2 o'clock class, your exam is at 1 o'clock. If you are in my 5 o'clock class, the exam is at 3:15. So your exam is going to consist of 32 multiple choice questions and 7 what I'll call short answers. So basically, they're the ones where I'm going to be able to see your work, and I may have the blanks listed out for you to fill in, and so on. Okay, so in terms of what you should be familiar with, first off, know your terms. So you should know your terms, what's the difference between population and sample, and then also know a little bit about correlation. So correlation is where we're going to say, like it's a, excuse my writing here, but a strong negative, or a weak negative, or strong positive, weak positive. So correlation, if you remember, is basically how your dots kind of fall. So a strong negative would kind of look like something like this. They won't fall in exactly a straight line. It's negative because it's going down, but they're very close to a straight line. Okay, so take a look at that. That's all I think from chapters 1 and 2. So you will need to find measures of central tendency. So that's going to be in multiple choice and in some of the short answer. Mean, mode, and median. Make sure that you know how to find those. Standard deviation. Know the definition. Okay, also know that plus or minus 2 standard deviations means it's significantly high or low. Okay, so make sure that you are able to kind of not necessarily find the standard deviation. There's not going to be anything with that complicated of a formula, but know how to use it. So box plots, this is again kind of going back to chapter 3. A 5-number summary was the max and the min, which highest point, lowest point. Q2 was equal to your median. And then you've got Q1 and Q3. So Q1 was the 25th percentile, and Q3 was the 75th percentile. So make sure you look back in chapter 3 to see how that all kind of plays out. Okay, so let me figure out how to go here and get the next slide. Exit drawing. Here we go. Okay, so you're going to need to be able to read graphs. You're not going to have to create any graphs. Basically, be able to read a dot plot and a histogram. Now remember, with the histogram, there were frequency histograms, which basically just listed how many were in each category, and then relative frequency histograms, which listed your percents. Okay, so a histogram basically kind of would have looked like this. You've got your boxes right next to each other. Okay, if it's a frequency histogram, like I said, you're just going to have numbers along the vertical axis. If it's relative frequency, you're going to have percents. Okay, a dot plot was one of those where it's just kind of a bunch of dots kind of going up like this. All right, and again, that should all come from chapters 2 and 3. Distribution, right skewed, left skewed, or bell-shaped. You should be very familiar with the bell shape at this point because we've been using it constantly for the last couple of weeks. Right skewed, remember that's where you're looking for where is the tail. So right skewed would look like that. Okay, and again, sorry for the shaky handwriting. Okay, so as we go on then, let's see. We've got probability. So this is going to probably be the biggest challenge for most of you. You are really, I'm not giving you a whole lot of formulas here because I really don't want you to use formulas. I want you to just use your gut. So know the difference between dependent events and independent events. All right, one depends on the other. Okay, can they both happen at the same time, or, you know, is there a difference? Know what I mean by sample space, all right? We talked a lot about examples there would be like there were 3 children born. So it was girl, 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 boy, etc. Compound probability, that's where we are looking at the probability of A or B versus the probability, well, didn't work well. All right, so the other one would be the probability of A and B. Okay, now, conditional probability, that you will have a formula. That's the probability of A given B. And the formula for that you'll be given is the probability of A and B happening divided by the probability of B. Well, this writing is really tough here. All right, redundancy. That's when you have multiple events happening at the same time. And all that is something is going to be happening repeatedly. All that is your probability to the nth power. How many times is that happening? Okay, permutation and combination. Those also you will have formulas for. So permutation was the NPR, which was n factorial over n minus r factorial. Permutation order matters. Combinations, though, was just a random collection or random choosing was our key word. And that formula was n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. Okay, so probability is something a lot of you are going to really want to take a close look at. All right, moving on, weighted averages. So that is one that is going to show up as one of the open-ended. And that is really very similar to the way I calculate your grades. In here, your tests are 60%. Your homework is 40% of your grade. Okay, so I take your homework grade. So let's say right now you have an 89 homework grade and a 77 test grade. So what I'll do is I'll take 77 times 0.60 plus 89 times 0.40. And that way I arrive at your grade. Okay, know the definitions or the difference between qualitative, which is numeric data, and quantitative, which is more of a description. Know the difference between discrete and continuous. Discrete was whole numbers. Continuous can be fractions or decimals. And then binomial distribution. Okay, that's the one where there's only 2 outcomes. You either pass or fail, or yes or no. All right, be able to find the mean. You will be given formulas here. So the mean is n times p. The standard deviation was the square root of npq. And then here I have the list about the significantly high versus low, which is more than 2 standard deviations away. Okay, then z-scores. So here's where it should start to get very, very easy for you. All right, you need to be able to find a z-score given the mean and the standard deviation. So this is another formula I am not giving you. Okay, so that z-score formula was x minus mu divided by standard deviation. You're going to be given a z-score table. So look up your z-scores. Look up, if I give you the area, that's the one where you go in the body of the table. Okay, and then be able to put it in terms of a context. Okay, so again, it shouldn't be surprising. This is going to be multiple choice and free response. Probability of finding the mean that at least, okay, basically what I'm saying here is using CLT. CLT was central limit theorem. But be able to tell the difference between at least and at most. And then also be able to use your t-score table, which of course is going to have then your degrees of freedom. Okay, and then finally, you're going to need to be able to do a confidence interval. So there again, you're going to have a variety of different formulas here. So P hat is X over N. So formulas. You're going to be given an E formula, which is finding the critical value. Now that is from a table at the bottom right corner of your z-score table. And then times the square root of P hat Q hat over N. And then to find the confidence interval, that was where you took P hat plus or minus E. Okay, and then from chapter 8, the one that we just got done, I had originally told you that I was just going to ask for null and alternative hypothesis. I decided that I am also going to ask the type of test, and that is the stuff where I'm just talking about the left, right, or two-tailed. Okay, so that is basically a rundown of what you can expect from your exam. When you come in for your exam, you only need to have a pencil and a calculator with you. I will provide all of the tables that you need. There is a pretty comprehensive review that is posted on Blackboard along with answers. So please, please, please start to take a look at that. And pretty much if you can get through that easily, you will very easily get through the exam. Okay, I do think that the exam is not all that terribly difficult. So the other thing would be, feel free to reach out to me at any point between now and the exam. I can certainly hop on a Zoom call with you. I'm happy to do that. And really just anything that I can do to help you get ready. Be in contact with me. Let me know if you want to meet. Let me know if you have questions. Okay? Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday, May 11th. All right. Good luck on the rest of your finals. Bye.